Do you have a messy business? You know, you change your offers constantly, you cross your fingers for clients, you're always tinkering with your fonts and your colors as if that's going to put money in the bank, and you change your prices every week just hoping something's going to stick. Sounds like you've skipped a few steps, and I'm not judging. I have been the messiest before, so this is coming from a place of love. Hey Astro Lover, welcome back to my channel. I'm Claire Gallagher, astrologer, author, and cosmic business strategist. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain and sharing my signature framework for building a sustainable, profitable business guided by the stars. There are 3 essential phases that you must move through to get to your goal. And no, you can't skip around. They have to go in order. I know that's really annoying, especially if you have Uranus on the ascendant, but learn from my mistakes. I spent years skipping around and it did nothing good for me or my business. So humble yourself and start at the beginning. The 3 phases of a planet-powered business are Clarify, Codify, and Amplify. We're going to go through them one by one, starting with phase 1, which is Clarify. This phase is pretty simple. It is exactly what it sounds like, and it is figuring out what you do, why you do it, who you do it for, and how you do it. This sounds really simple, but you'd be amazed at how many people start businesses without knowing the answers to these questions, me included. Let's start with the easier one, which is what you do. Now, you probably have a good idea of what you do in your business. You probably have a skill that is for sale. However, there are some vagaries around this. For example, if you're like, I do astrology, I would argue that that's not clear enough and that we need to dig deeper. By what you do, I mean, what problem do you solve for your clients? This is often indicated by a trickier placement in your astrology chart. So you might have an especially tricky Saturn or Mars or an aspect between the two. If you're me, that might describe a problem that you have overcome in your life, a transformation that you've experienced in your life that you can usher other people through. Or maybe you have a planet that's like invisible or retrograde, or it's in a sign or house that makes it a little weak. That could also point to a problem that you're really good at solving. So when you start thinking about what you're here to do, don't discount the parts of your chart that you kind of shy away from, because they actually have a lot of juice to offer. Now, why you do what you do is typically described by the sun in your chart. The sun describes your business's purpose or overall vision and mission. However, I'm going to throw a little curveball here and say that if you were born at night, and that means if you draw a line from your ascendant degree to your descendant degree, and the sun is below that line, you were born in astrological night, I would say that maybe the moon for you describes your business purpose and mission. This is going to be defined by the sign that this luminary is placed in, as well as the house, and probably some of the aspects. So really dig deep into the symbolism of that zodiac sign and placement for clues on why you are compelled to do the work that you do. Now, who do you do it for? This is super, super important, and it might be something that you haven't really nailed down yet. For example, you might read tarot, but you think you could just help everyone and do it for everyone. I would say, no, that is not moving through phase 1. That is not clarity. You want to be really specific about what type of person you help, and more importantly, again, what you help them achieve, what problem you help them solve, what pain point you are addressing with your skill set. You can get some information about this person or this group of people by the planet that rules your 7th house. This is important. You need to know who you're talking to. You need to know their problems, their desires, and their psychology. A lot of this can be described by two things: the 7th house ruling planet, which I just said, but also the zodiac sign that occupies your 7th house. For example, my 7th house is occupied by Gemini. So I know that I am usually working with individuals who are super smart, super sharp, know all of the things, can do all of the things. However, they may have a little bit of trouble organizing all of the things and getting them to move forward. There can be a lot of overthinking and making things overly complicated. So I know that for me, I'm going to want to create systems and structures that streamline businesses for my ideal client. How you do what you do is defined usually by two things: the midheaven degree in your chart and the planet that rules your midheaven, aka your CEO planet. And these two parts of the chart defines your special sauce, what makes you unique from all the other counselors or all the other branding experts out there. Another planet that plays into how you do things is Venus. And Venus clarifies in a few ways how you magnetize clients to you, what they want from you, and how you make cash. So in short, if you don't know these astrological pieces, you don't know the problem you're solving or the result you're offering. You don't really have anything to sell. Your message will be murky and people won't be able to identify that they actually need your products and services. If you skip phase 1, you're in a heap of trouble. And I know because I've been there. You're gonna have to start your business over and over and over again and do the whole trial and error thing until something sticks. It really is like throwing spaghetti at the wall. If you skip phase 1, you also won't have anything to bring to phase 2, Codify, or phase 3, Amplify. Or if you skip ahead, and that's cool, you have free will. But if you decide you want to amplify before you've clarified, you're going to be pivoting your business publicly. And that's okay. I've done that plenty of times, but it can make me worried that I'm coming across a little flaky. Phase 2 in building a planet-powered business is to codify. This is probably the most unsexy step, the most unpopular, unless you are a Virgo. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It is creating business structures, systems, plans, organization tools, routine, and the planets that are involved in phase 2 are Saturn, Mercury, and the Moon. And here's why. Saturn is the planet of structure and discipline. It delights in systems of all kinds, and looking at your natal Saturn can give you clues about what type of structures may suit you and your business the best. Mercury is the planet of all things organization and planning. It excels at calendaring. It is really good with dates. It's really good with time management, and diving into your natal Mercury can help you figure out some tweaks about how you move through time the best. And then there's the moon. The moon is the planet that most represents our day-to-day ebbs and flows. It represents the body and the way the body moves through time. So this is our daily rhythm, right? This planet really describes, when you dive into the symbolism, the zodiac placement, the house placement, and the aspects, it can really define the type of routine you need from day to day, when you need to take breaks, what those breaks might look like, and how your energy flows through the workday. This is super important because you want your business to be, I would imagine, sustainable, and you want it to feel good in your body so that you can show up with your best self. So paying attention to the moon and creating a weekly schedule with the moon's help is essential in having a planet-powered business. These 3 planets will help you identify what's actually important, divide it into bite-sized, actionable, reasonable steps, and actually place it on your calendar in a way that will be realistic for you to complete. Now, if you skip phase 2, which is totally relatable and understandable because boring. If you skip phase 2, you're gonna get overwhelmed really quickly, and you're gonna speed towards burnout before you even get to grow your business to a point where it's sustaining you. So systems are sexy because they create comfort, they create safety, and they allow you to grow with ease instead of stress. Plus, if you skip phase 2, you're gonna build a business that may be successful, but years down the road feels awful, like a really tight pair of pants, and you just can't get comfortable because it doesn't reflect your actual energetic capacity. Also, you're probably going to be flying by the seat of your pants without a plan, putting out fires, and losing the greater vision that you worked so hard for in phase 1 because you're lost in the details. And finally, phase 3 of building a planet-powered business is to amplify. This is everybody's favorite step and what most people think of when they imagine starting a business. This is where stuff like marketing and growth and collaboration and hiring and expanding and like renting the perfect space, all of that comes under amplify. Here's the thing, if you amplify before you're ready, you can amplify a mess, basically. Whatever you've got going on, put it under a microscope, a magnifying glass. Whoops, And here's another thing to think about. You can have a bazillion, bajillion followers and still make $0 because you haven't clarified or codified. So it's really important that you only amplify when you are ready. The planets involved in phase 3 are Mars and Jupiter. Mars is the planet of action, of bold moves, of stepping out of your comfort zone. And at least in my experience, when you want to grow your business, you typically have to make some power moves that make you a little bit slightly uncomfortable. Not super uncomfortable, but a stretch, like a nice therapeutic stretch. And then there's the real stretcher, and that's Jupiter. This is the planet that I like to call the growth consultant. It is all about expanding your reach, growing your audience, and getting your message out there on a global scale. If you skip phase 3, you have a hobby, you don't have a business. You're also going to hit a plateau. You're going to get stuck because there's going to be eventually no fresh people entering the business. And I totally understand this as an introverted person, a highly sensitive person. Phase 3 is the hardest phase for me personally. I can clarify and codify all day, and that's why I help other people do it. But if you ask me personally to amplify, like get on YouTube or get on Instagram, it's taken me a few years to get here, I'm not gonna lie. So there's usually a lot of fear and subconscious blocks to work through when it's time to amplify, but it's totally workable. Okay, let's recap. The 3 phases of a planet-powered business are to clarify, codify, and amplify, and you wanna go through them in order. To clarify your business, you're going to work with the sun or moon, depending on when you were born, Venus, which is going to tell you about where money is coming into your business, and we can talk more about that in a later episode. And you're also going to want to work with the midheaven and midheaven ruling planet. To codify your business, you're going to work with Saturn, Mercury, and the moon. And to amplify your business, you're going to work with Mars and Jupiter. Let me know in the comments what phase you think you're in right now, and I will be back soon with another video all about cosmic business strategy, so be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any goodies. Talk soon.